me something. How do you people get the Christmas spirit when it's 80 degrees outside?
You'll get used to that. I felt the same way my first Christmas here.
I'm going to get a card made showing 8 tiny little reindeer with prickly heat.
Christmas isn't for 10 days. Maybe we'll have a cold snap.
Minneapolis, we used to have a white Christmas.
Minneapolis, we used to have a white Easter.
Morning, Donovan.
Good morning, Lou.
What do we have in the Christmas file?
Well, let's see here. Got the school for Santas. Now, that's always interesting.
That's never interesting.
Really boring. However, this year the city's forced them to hire a couple of women.
That's progress. Women have won the right to wear a beard.
Then there's this beware of pickpockets in the busy season piece. How stores catch shoplifters. The dangers of faulty wiring on Christmas trees.
Great stories. Dripping with warmth, every one of them.
Oh, warmth you wanted. Billy's got something.
Billy?
Show him that piece you got off the police beat.
A motorcycle cop found an entire family living in a tent next to the freeway this morning.
Oh, yeah, let me see that.
Right out of the grapes of wrath. No money, no home, no nothing. They came to California thinking it was the land of opportunity.
And the dream went sour. Look, we have something here.
A Christmas story?
You bet. Get out there with animals, see what you can find. And Billy.
Yeah, Lou?
Don't let me see the phrase, no room at the inn.
You're going to really make this a challenge for her, aren't you?
Lou. This is our city editor, Lou Grant. County Assessor Walter Harper. Look, I've got to get to a meeting, but I'm sure that Lou will get this cleared up.
He'd better. Hello, Mr. Harper. What's the trouble?
This is the trouble. This whole article.
Mr. Harper feels that he's been misquoted on the subject of tax.
Misquoted? This is pure fiction.
Mm-hmm. Rossi.
Oh, Mr. Harper?
Rossi, Mr. Harper says you misquoted him about raising taxes.
No way. Every word's a direct quote.
Can you document it?
Not to word.
Mr. Harper, I stand by my reporter.
Do you indeed? Well, I have an appointment with your publisher in 5 minutes. Perhaps you'd like to stand by him up there.
Okay. Fine.
I'd love to join you, but
I know. You have a meeting.
Excuse me. It's flagrant, and at the very least, criminally irresponsible.
Bull.
What do you say, Mr. Rossi?
He said bull.
I asked Mr. Rossi what he had to say in his own defense. Do you have your notes, Mr. Rossi?
Full and complete notes. All up here.
What?
Total recall. I said, what about a tax hike, Mr. Harper? And he said, no way to make up the deficit without one. And I said, why haven't you mentioned it in your speeches? And he said, the voters would kill me. And I said, they have to find out sometime. And he laughed and said, well, there's time enough after the election. See, total recall.
The man didn't take a note. Now, he can stand here now and say any fool thing he wants. Meanwhile, I've been made to look like a hypocrite by your paper.
With a memory like mine, I frankly don't know why I even bother to use one of these.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I think there may just be a law about using electronic eavesdropping devices.
Please, Mr. Harper, let's listen to this.
What about a tax hike, Mr. Harper? No way to make up the deficit without one. Why haven't you mentioned in your speeches? Voters would kill me. They have to find out sometime. There's time enough after the election.
Now, give me that. What are you going to do, erase it? Everybody heard it.
No, you didn't go back far enough.
Can I ask you a couple more questions? I've said all I wish to say. Anything else will have to be off the record. What about a tax hike, Mr. Harper?
You heard it. It was all off the record.
I don't believe in off the record to help a guy shaft the people.
Doesn't off the record mean anything at your paper anymore, Mrs. Pynchon?
Yes, it does, Mr. Harper. And you have my assurance we will deal with this.
I would hope so. Oh. Good afternoon.
You have violated violated one of the fundamental tenets of newspaper reporting. I do not intend to condone this behavior. Do you hear me?
But Mrs. Pinchot,
Do you hear me, Mr. Rossi?
Yes, yes.
Good. Now, will you please leave us?
Wait for me downstairs. I want to talk to you.
Now, just what do you intend to do to discipline that young man?
Leave it to me. When you're dealing with a man of his talents, you have to be careful. He's very high-strung, very temperamental, but he can be handled. It's a matter of understanding human psychology. I know how his mind works, and therefore I know the right psychological level on which to approach him.
I'm going to kill you, Rossi.
Let's not make irresponsible threats.
It's not irresponsible. It's carefully thought out. I'm going to kill you. Look, Lou, not physically, you understand, much as I'd enjoy it. No, I'm going to kill you intellectually. I'm going to break your spirit.
What does that mean?
That means that I've given this some careful thought. A lot of effort is going to go into choosing your next assignment.
Listen, Lou.
Now, I know you don't have much respect for old newspaper cliches, but off the record, you're going to wish you'd gone into your father's fertilizer business.
Instead, I work in this fertilizer business.
You'll have a little fight left in you, huh, kid?
Yeah.
You won't.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&B.
Finally, I was soloist instead of...
My husband was one of those people who didn't believe in insurance. He never planned. I can see that. But he always took care of us somehow. It wasn't until he died that I realized how little we had, in the way of money, that is. And you were left to take care of the 5 children yourself? 4 children. Oh, I'd have liked to have more, but I believe in population control. Right. Thank you. And you had to raise them yourself. So I'm not complaining. I'm grateful we're all together. No one's sick. We're lucky. Now, isn't this a pretty place? There were some beer cans and the like scattered around, but we cleaned them up. But they won't let you stay here, will they? I bet they'll leave us alone till after Christmas. I sure hope so. We're putting up our decorations.
Maybe hold up your little sister so she can hang that item. Yeah.
And after Christmas, we'll find someplace else. We own the tent. The grass is free and the sun is warm. At least in California. I think you're amazing. No, we're not. Honey, people survive. Our rent is free, no medical bills so far, and we're together. I wasn't kidding. I think we're lucky. Great.
Oh, Mr. Rossi, if it's not too much trouble, may I have a word with you? You'll be excited to learn that I've chosen your next assignment.
Really gonna go through with this thing, huh?
I don't make idle threats, Rossi. In your case, I've spent some time selecting a story tailored to your special skills, both as a writer and as a reporter. And I'm about to toss you a ball that you can really run with.
Terrific.
The Assistant Commissioner of Motor Vehicles has just completed 25 years on the job.
No kidding. 25 years.
Now, he spends half of his time in Sacramento, but fortunately, he's down here at his home base right now.
Come on, Lou.
I'm sure a hotshot reporter like you can find a story in that. The angles are endless. For instance, does he have to pass a test to get a license?
Lou, I'm sorry about the off-the-record thing.
Penny Parallel Park. That is something that I, as a reader, would sure like to know.
Really sorry. You don't know how sorry.
How many licenses does he issue each day? Each week? Each year?
For God's sake, Lou, how many times a year does he commute between L.A. and Sacramento?
Why, I didn't even think of that one.
I apologize. Is that what you want?
Maybe you could spend a typical day traveling with him between cities. L.A. to Sacramento.
Sacramento to L.A.
No. Do you want me to grovel? Is that it?
No. I want you to go out and cover this story. Now go bring me back a good, long, sexy feature on 25 years of motor vehicle registration. Now get cracking. Rossi.
sure and keep your mouth shut. We want this story to be an exclusive.
You like it?
You had to use the phrase, no room at the end, didn't you?
I couldn't resist it. What did you think of it outside of that?
Pretty good.
And?
What do you mean, and? That's as gushy as I get.
Billy, I saw your byline in the Trib about the family in the tent and all. It was a wonderful article.
Thank you very much.
Just beautiful.
Thank you.
I was terribly moved by it.
Mr. Grant was just saying the same thing.
I tell you, when I read that...
Can I have some more coffee, please?
Oh, right away. Billy, I wonder, I'd really like to help that family. I know it's not much, but would you give him this?
Oh, no, I can't. Oh, look at that. Vivian!
No, don't do that. She wants you to give it to him. You only make her feel stupid if you give it back.
Well, what'll I do with it?
Give it to those people.
$2?
You may get some more. If you touch Vivian, you probably touch some others. I bet you get some more.
You think so?
I wouldn't be at all surprised. I don't believe it.
Please forward this check for $20. It may help a little.
Here's another one with money in it. Cash, $10.
Please give this to those poor people.
Who says cash in the mail?
When I realized how lucky my family is, instead of buying Christmas presents this year, we decided...
You're going to have to open a bank account for these people and deposit all this stuff.
I know. Please tell them not all Americans are selfish, and give them this check. The whole city's opening his heart. There isn't one negative letter.
Yes, there is. Don't encourage welfare bums and left-wing perverts. I have evidence communists killed Herbert Hoover. Signed T.J. Eckert, Professor of Romance Languages, Glendale College.
That one doesn't count. He sends that every week. Oh, look.
I appreciate you giving me your time, Commissioner.
Oh, that's okay. Go on in, sit down. Make yourself comfortable. You caught me on a slow day, and I only have 5 of those a week.
I know some people hate talking to reporters.
No, I don't mind at all. I don't for the life of me know what story there is in me, but then I don't know much about newspapers. I do read them, and this sure sounds dull to me.
Well, to tell you the truth, I couldn't agree with you more. It's my boss's idea. I'm being punished.
Well, now, that's flattering as hell. You know that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, listen. Don't be sorry. I mean, there is simply no story in Malcolm Finley.
But I've got to do it. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go to your home, take some pictures.
Of what?
Your wife, your kids, your dog, anything to pad.
Oh, no. I can't agree to that.
Why not?
Because my wife, Mrs. Finley here, has a thing about reporters. And she's a very private person.
I'm just talking about puff stuff. You know, wife of the commissioner. Does she worry about her driving? Do her friends come to her to try to get their tickets fixed?
I know, but she just does not want her family in the public eye. You know, she's shy and uncomfortable with interviews. And, well, let's face it. She does have a right to her privacy.
Try doing that in your ear. You can turn yourself on.
It's so hot, my shirt is sticking to my body.
Oh, well, here's the new weather forecast. It's going to cool off on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. A real cold snap. The mercury will be plummeting all the way down to 80.
Then I guess I won't bother to wax the runners on my sled. You remember the winters when you were a kid?
Yeah. Actually, they were pretty much like this. My father was a naval officer. I lived in Hawaii till I was 12. I could really get nostalgic about Christmas. I go down to the beach, take off my shoes, wiggle my toes in the sand.
Fine, Donovan. Swell.
Play White Christmas on my ukulele.
Okay.
All set?
I got some dandy stuff for the kids and the tree. Shall we rush it back to the lab to see if we can't make the home edition?
Listen, I am really sorry about the dog not being here, you know, but he's at the vet. He's being wormed.
Aw. Well, I'll just try to work that right into it.
Oh, Mal. Oh, can you bear it? We're going to be celebrities. Daddy's home. Daddy.
Hi, sweetie. Hello, poor Tilly. I thought I asked you not to, Mr. Rossi.
Oh, but now, Mr. Rossi couldn't have been nicer.
Mr. Findlay, you have a very lovely family. I think you're going to be very pleased with the pictures.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't let you have this film.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
So far, the amount comes to $9,416.25. $9,000? I can't get used to that word, thousand. Now, if you said 100, I might be able to believe it. No, I still wouldn't believe it.
Here's your bank book. All you have to do is sign this card, and it's all in here.
Oh, you see that, kids? We're rich!
Well, I wouldn't say rich exactly, but you won't have to spend Christmas in a tent at any rate.
Oh, that's for sure. There's just one thing I gotta tell you, though. I'm kind of ashamed to say it, but you'll have to show me how to use this. You see, I never had a bank account before.
Don't worry, there's nothing to it. Spending money's like swimming. Once you learn, you never forget.
Meanwhile, here, we've got a whole bag of these at the office, but I thought I'd show you a selection. I'm going to answer every one of these personally. Every one. Oh, my, would you look at these?
And there's more coming in.
Instead of toys this year, thanks for teaching my family the true meaning of Christmas.
They're moving into a real apartment this afternoon.
Huh?
I thought we could all chip in and send them over a Christmas tree.
Not a bad idea. We ought to get two while we're at it. We need one around here.
The city room?
Or Reed, we should have something.
What's this?
Lou wants something to make it feel like Christmas around here.
How about a drink?
That might help. Hey, seriously, we are going to have a party, aren't we?
A party? What do you mean?
Christmas party. Gotta have a Christmas party Christmas Eve. Right after we put the city edition to bed. Gotta have a Christmas party.
I think most people would rather go home on Christmas Eve, Lou.
They can go home any night. Christmas Eve should be something special. What do you say, huh? We'll get some decorations, some eggnog, huh? We'll get some booze.
Well, I really think most people would rather be with their families.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
You know, if it were any other night. Do you have any plans?
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about me.
Well, I wasn't worried. I just wondered.
Sure. Big plans. Big plans. Yeah, there's a place off Hollywood Boulevard that sells out-of-town newspapers. Figured I'd pick up one of the Minneapolis papers and read it with my Christmas dinner. In the drugstore.
Listen, Lou.
And afterwards, I'd try to find one of those all-night movie houses. Maybe one that's showing Miracle on 34th Street. I love that movie.
What harm could a little party do?
So people get home an hour later. So what?
Exactly. Christmas comes but once a year.
All right, I'll start spreading the word.
Well, you sure it's no trouble?
What trouble? A little eggnog, a little booze.
I'll bring the decorations.
Here's some more mail, Billy, about that family. Put it on your desk?
No, give it to me, Ivan. Show this to Mrs. Pinchon. She will be so tickled.
In the follow-up I'm doing, I described the response.
Yeah, but I want her actually to see these letters. I mean, this is tangible proof of what kind of job we've been doing.
Charlie, she already knows what kind of job we've been doing.
In fact, I have a better idea. Donovan, find the animal, send him off to the tower.
What for?
To shoot Mrs. Penchant behind a desk piled with mail.
Look at him. He looks sort of like an Ivy League Santa Claus.
Who'd ever believe that beneath that gentle, kindly exterior was a gentle, kindly man?
He really gets into the old Christmas spirit, doesn't he?
Have you ever been to his house at Christmas? It's really wonderful. They decorate the bathrooms.
Oh, come on.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Right on the back of the John one time, I looked down, there was his tiny little Santa and all his reindeer. That's beautiful.
My father was like that. He used to build snow sculptures on our front lawn. Not just snowmen, whole castles. And angels.
Ah, that's Christmas. Where'd you grow up anyway?
Bismarck, North Dakota.
Yeah, that's cold.
Cold. You know what we used to do when we were kids? We used to have to put our bus money in our mittens before we left the house.
Because it was so cold you couldn't take your mittens off to get the change out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Don't you wish you were back there right now?
What for? It's 10 below zero. I love this warm weather.
You must have been a big disappointment to your father.
Come in.
Oh, Mrs. Penchant's called.
When you see this, Mrs. Penchant.
Hey, this is only a small sample. We had 3 bags this size yesterday. I expect at least 2 more today, and I figure that if each bag averages...
You. Why are you doing this?
Because, you see, I visualized Mrs. Penchant a really striking publicity picture. Just a demonstration of, you know...
Are you drunk? That's the only acceptable explanation for your behavior.
Well, I did have lunch with the advertising department today.
Good. Now, what are you going to do with these?
No, not now, animal.
City desk. Oh, hello, Rossi. Where are you?
Sacramento.
What are you doing up there?
Just following the commissioner around.
Don't get smart with me, Rossi. Don't try to teach me a lesson when I'm teaching you a lesson.
Lou, I'm just doing the best I can with an impossible assignment.
Listen, Rossi, if you've learned your lesson, you can come on home.
No, I'm going to stick with this one. No, I'm not with the commissioner, exactly. I'm just sort of watching him from afar. I gotta go now, Lou. And Lou, thanks for the assignment.
Wait till you see how the kids decorated the tree while you were gone.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&B.
Hey, this isn't bad.
Better than a tent and a whole lot drier.
Yeah, that's right. Rain followed by mildew. That's your version of a white Christmas out here.
That's one of Emily's kids. Hi, Frankie.
Attaboy. I used to make a few bucks myself polishing cars.
You didn't have to do that.
Oh, just little things. For the younger kids. I like buying toys.
That's lucky for your granddaughter.
Yeah, it works out nicely. She likes breaking toys. Thank you.
Why, Miss Newman, how nice to see you.
Emily, this is Lou Grant, my editor.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Grant.
Lou, pleased to meet you, Emily. You're a plucky woman.
I'm a lucky woman. Come on in. Your newspaper changed our life. I can see that.
Why don't you shut that thing off?
Ain't bothering you.
Mama, when's the man gonna hook this up?
You want Frankie to take you for a ride? I mean it. Frankie got a new car. You should see it.
You mean that car is his?
Yeah. Isn't it a pretty color?
Oh.
Why don't you sit down? Emily, how did you buy a new car and all this with $9,000? I mean, how...
Don't tell me. I know. Wouldn't begin to do it. Just barely covered the down payments.
Down payments?
What happens when it's time to make the rest of the payments?
Well, that's not for 60 days. Right now, my children are going to have the Christmas they always dreamed of.
This is a Christmas Rockefeller never dreamed of. How could you do this?
I don't understand. Oh, we never thought the money would go for this.
Were we supposed to check with you before spending it? You didn't tell me.
Well, no, but...
We never had any money, Miss Newman. We always been poor.
So was I. I spent a couple of Christmases in the Depression, so don't tell me about poor. I can remember what my mother used to do.
I don't
at Christmas.
care. It's mine. This looks better. It's mine, though.
Hey! I'm talking about my mom. We were poor, too. But my mother saved up all year. Do you know what she gave me for Christmas when I was his age? A pair of socks. Brown socks. Being poor is no excuse for this. It's just dumb.
Lou.
Well, it is. That money could have been used to set up an education fund for these kids. Instead, it's a down payment for a lot of junk that'll all have to go back when you can't pay for it. That's dumb.
He's right, Miss Newman. I know he's right. We should have spent the money on what you wanted us to instead of what we wanted.
Well, that's not what I meant.
I'm no good with money. I just don't know how to say no to kids. I never had to say no before.
Yeah, well,
there was no reason to.
I realize.
All I wanted was to make my children happy for Christmas. I didn't buy nothing for myself, not even a new dress. But if they were happy, then it'd be a lot easier for me, and then maybe I bought that for myself. I wasn't thinking about their future, and that is dumb. And I'm dumb. And I don't deserve the money.
Oh, no. Sure you do.
I mean, how do you say no at Christmas?
Look, but you don't. You don't. Nobody does. Christmas is a time to splurge. In fact, I came here to invite you to the Christmas party we're having at the newspaper tomorrow night.
Really?
Yeah. Sure. So, we'll see you tomorrow night, huh?
What about these?
What? Those? Oh. No, these are just, my laundry. Tomorrow night.
I'm sorry I had you wait out here, Mr. Rossi.
Sorry I had to disturb your evening.
Well, you're going to disturb a lot more than my evening, aren't you?
I'm afraid so.
Well, would you like to take a little walk?
Sure. How? That's the obvious question. How did you come to be married to two women at the same time?
Well, it's easier than you think. You have to understand, Mr. Rossi, that what's unusual about me is simply that I'm a very ordinary man to whom something extraordinary has happened.
How long has this been going on?
For 13 years.
13? Wow.
You know, my My job makes me travel back and forth almost constantly between Sacramento and Los Angeles. And it was on a trip to Los Angeles that I met Kay. And I began to see her more and more. And I suppose that sort of thing happens quite often.
But other men don't marry their girlfriends, at least not without divorcing their wives first.
Well, I love my wife, Alma. I still do. But gradually I began to find myself falling in love with Kay, too. Kay's a very old-fashioned girl.
That things like bigamy?
No. No, she didn't know I was married. She's old-fashioned about premarital affairs. And she thought that if I didn't want to marry her, then I didn't love her. But I did love her. So, how could I not?
What about Alma? Alma?
Yes. I love her. I love them both. And I've been happy with them. My God, I think I've made them happy.
With no problems?
Well, virtually none. Although 6 specialists have been unable to do anything about my ulcer. And outside of that, there are virtually none. Unless you want to count yourself, you know.
Oh, but it was going to come out sooner or later.
Well, maybe. Maybe. It's going to hurt an awful lot of people. Really damage them. The thing is, to you, it's just a story, see? Is there no way?
Please.
Forgive me for that.
Sure.
Let me ask you a favor, then, if I may. Can I see a copy of the story before it appears? You know, not much before, but just enough to give me some time to prepare before they see it.
I'm sorry, really. We just don't do that. It's our policy. It could lead to real problems in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can understand that. Well, what can I say?
Thank you for talking to me. Findlay, I'll show you a copy of the story before we print it. Hey, Lou.
Oh, how was Sacramento? Theater still as good up there as ever?
I have got a story, a real story.
Fine. Go write your story.
I don't have to. The story will write itself.
Hey, Wussy, you staying for the party?
Oh, gee, Lou, I don't know. It's Christmas Eve.
I know it's Christmas Eve. That's why we're having a party. Everything except for the party?
I'll be there.
How many people you have lined up?
I'll be there.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&B.
Now it's starting to look like Christmas around here.
Listen, Lou.
You staying for the party?
Well, actually, Lou, I wouldn't miss it.
All right. It's Christmas Eve.
Right. And listen, Lou, Mrs. Pinchon wants to see us right now. Oh, yeah?
What for?
I don't know, but as you say, it is Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh. A time at which...
It is not unheard of to award small cash rewards to trusted and loyal employees.
That's what I always like about Christmas. The traditions.
Come in, gentlemen. Oh, glad you could join me. Well, it's Christmas Eve again. Do you ever get the feeling that whoever is in charge of the time machine is turning that handle just a tiny bit faster every year?
Seems like yesterday was summer.
It was. It was 85 degrees.
And now it's Christmas.
Oh, yeah. We're having a little office party.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. The whole staff, everybody chipping in. Have a little booze, maybe sing some Christmas carols. What do you say? Would you like to come?
Lord, no.
It's Christmas.
Yes, Christmas. And time once again to review the triumphs and failures of another year. Frankly, gentlemen, I have no hesitation in stating I think our triumphs have far outnumbered our failures.
We made some mistakes, too. I know that.
But I like to think that even our mistakes had flair. We're somehow larger than life. You know, Fiorello LaGuardia once said, when I make a mistake, it's a beaut. I like to think of the Trib's mistakes as being beauts.
I like to think that too, Miss Fisher.
You know, I was talking to a friend of mine about her newspaper.
Oh, Catherine Graham?
Well, Mrs. Graham is just one of my many friends. There are several of us who own newspapers, Mr. Grant. We have a kind of club. Some women our age may raise money for the Philharmonic or the ballet. But the simple pleasure in the twilight of our lives is to control the press in major cities and wield ruthless power. Of course, I'm only joking. No one would call me a tyrant.
That's right.
Now, this friend of mine runs a newspaper in Nebraska. It's a good paper. Not as good as ours. Of course, she wouldn't agree with that. We like to compare notes from time to time. Enlightening and helpful, Mr. Hume. Now, my friend told me her paper ran a story a month or so ago. Seems there was an indigent family, mother and 4 children, living in a tent on the outskirts of Omaha without a penny to their name. Until my friend's paper ran a story and managed to raise $5,000 for the poor unfortunates.
You don't think it's the same family?
Not only do I think so, so does Mr. Grant.
It was only 4,000.
You mean to
If
say...
they say it was 5,000, then somebody on that paper kept $1,000 of our money. That really makes you wonder about people, doesn't it?
How can you say it was your money?
People send it in for us. Oh, well, you take your chances. In Dallas, for example, when they ran that story, we didn't get a penny. Of course, that was in August, and you can't make people feel much sentiment in August. Don't worry, I'm not going to read it. I just brought you a drink.
You brought me a drink. What's the occasion?
Rossi, the occasion is called Christmas Eve in this part of the world. Have a drink.
No, thanks.
Oh, come on. If I can treat you like a human being one day of the year, you can reciprocate.
I'm working.
Yes, I see that. We all see that, Rossi, and we're impressed as hell.
That's not the point.
Yes, it is. Rossi, the total pro, has no time for sentiment. Granted, it would only take 5 minutes to come over, have a drink, and say Merry Christmas, but that would damage the image. You're as hard as nails, and tomorrow's just another day, right?
Wrong.
Okay, so back to your story. Don't keep the world waiting. If you'll pardon the expression, Merry Christmas.
Don't you feel ashamed?
What for? The papers are nice enough to write about us, and people are nice enough to give us money. It's how we survive. It's all we know. But I gotta tell you this. That Miss Newman, she wrote the nicest piece about us we ever had.
This can't go on indefinitely, you know.
Mr. Graham, how many papers would you say there are in this country?
About 1,600.
God bless the American press.
Billy know about her yet?
I thought I'd wait until after Christmas to break it to her. Then you can tell her about Santa Claus.
Lou, I'm sorry. I really have to get home.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks for coming. Tell your wife Merry Christmas for me. Wait. Give these toys to your kids.
But my kids are grown up.
Good, then they won't break them. Motor Vehicle Department is instituting a pilot program to reevaluate the driving skills of people over the age of 65. Assistant Motor Vehicle Commissioner Malcolm Finley said the program is patterned after similar programs in other states. What's this? It's the most boring crud I ever read in my life. This is the story that you came up with? The one that was going to write itself?
Guess I was wrong.
I thought you could find a story in anything.
Apparently, I can't.
Well, don't worry, kid. It happens to the best of us. Buy you a drink?
Why not? Merry Christmas?
Why not?
Their campaigns are filled with glowing reviews, but once elected, many politicians fall from favor. From the Kennedys to the Clintons, we'll explore the love-hate relationship between the presidents and the press on Investigative Reports tonight.
And now a rookie cop lets a purse snatcher get away. Kurt Russell catches flack from members of the force on Police Story, next on A&E.